Welcome back.
Well, let's take our weekly segment on cinemas and theatre. And as the world prepares to celebrate the International Women's Day later in the week, we turn the spotlight on Judy Kibinge, a renowned Kenya filmmaker whose works have inspired generations.
Her rich film journey has caught the eye of London-based professor of film and screen studies who has created a retrospective film, Out of the Box.
Here is Jackline Macharia with a review of Out of the Box.
The film Out of the Box, The Screen World of Judy Kibinge, explores the diverse filmmaking work and generous leadership style of award-winning Kenyan female filmmaker Judy Kibinge, whose journey in the film industry is one of resilience, creativity, and groundbreaking achievement. Her transition into filmmaking from advertising in 2002 marked the beginning of a new era in Kenyan cinema as her fiction and documentary films ignited a modern filmmaking movement.
Hey, you're going to be the next victim.
Through her lens, she captured stories that resonated deeply with audiences, sparking conversations and challenging societal norms.
Myself and my team members really were looking for stories to feature as part of our research where we felt there was, transformation going on the continent. And I thought what really stands out to me and what really stood out for me is that often African women filmmakers haven't been given enough of a spotlight, both within Africa and globally, in academia and in the film industry. And so Judy Kibinge immediately came to mind as one of these leading Kenyan women filmmakers whose work I'd been following and admiring since 2002. And I just thought, why has there not been a film about Judy? And then I thought, not only is she an amazing filmmaker, but I also really, really admired what she had done with her team at DocuBox, creating this organization that's been running for 10 years now, and that has really transformed filmmaking cultures in East Africa.
Professor Lindiwe Dave, a film lecturer at the SOS University in London and director of the film, notes that her desire to create African films was realized after she saw how misrepresented Africa was.
When I started my PhD on African cinema at the University of Cambridge in the UK, first of all, I was really shocked as a South African myself to arrive in the UK and to see how misrepresented Africa was in the UK media. Africa was represented as a place of violence and war, and it just didn't resonate with what I knew of my own African experiences growing up as a child in South Africa. So that was a primary motivation to start an African film festival to tell, the real stories from Africa.
Through her research in film, Professor Lindiwe notes that Kenya is the only country in Africa that has women in the forefront in the film industry.
Kenya is absolutely incredible in terms of its gender equity in the film industry. In all my research on gender in film industries globally, Kenya is the only country that I have been able to find that has women at the forefront of the film industry, leading the film industry, playing an equal role with men, working closely with men, but it's extremely unusual to have that. For example, again, thinking about South Africa, where I'm from, that gender equity has not been good in the film industry, which is one of the reasons why the National Film and Video Foundation wanted to create the Female-Only Filmmakers Program to get more women into the industry.
Judy Kibinge's impact extends beyond the silver screen. Her dedication to fostering documentary filmmaking in East Africa led to the establishment of DocuBox, the region's first documentary film fund.
Gosh, almost 10 years. I feel like we're so old. Whenever I say 10, I'm like, no, it can't be that long, but it is.
Kibinge's tireless efforts and dedication to her craft saw her honored with the prestigious Women in Film Kenya Award for the Most Influential Woman in Film in 2021, followed by a Head of State commendation and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Kenya Film Commission the following year.
I loved making something necessary because it was a very difficult time right after post-election violence. It was a difficult period. So be able to turn that into a really engageable watching film that I guess it gains in value the further we get away from 2007. Whenever you see it, you remember something. And it's one thing I would be really thrilled to see in the future. And one thing I'd really like to see from our young and emerging filmmakers in Kenya, in East Africa, is filmmakers who are paying attention to the craft. And if we do that, if young filmmakers can just expand their craft, 20 years, we'll be shocked. We'll see something different happening.
Jackline Macharia for Cinemas and Theatre.